Hello, dear children of class 5, and welcome to yet another online class of general knowledge. Dear children, today we are going to do a new lesson from your GK book, that is National Sports. You see, dear children, every country has their own national sports, right? This sport is a well-respected form of game in that particular country. Like in our country, India, the national sport is hockey. Although cricket is more popular here, but yet our national game is hockey. Now, national game in one or the other way is tied with the history and culture of that country. That's why it is considered to be the national game or national sport of that country. It may be popular, it may not be popular, that's whole another story, but it is respected as the national sport. So today we are going to learn about different countries and their national sport. So we'll draw up a table here. National sport and country. National sport and country. Okay, so let's see. First, let's find national sport. Number one, skiing. Number two, golf. Number three, baseball. Number four, football. And number five, oil wrestling. So let's see. The first game that we will talk about is skiing. Skiing is a mountaineous sport. Why it is mountaineous sport? Because it is done on snow. You see, skiing is done with the help of two flat platforms and two sticks. People climb on those platforms and people slide down the mountain using the skid, using the sticks to turn, change direction, or to balance themselves out there. It is a very exciting sport as well as very dangerous. So the country that has skiing as its national sport is Norway. So you can say Norway, the national sport of Norway is skiing. Then we have golf. You have seen golf on television. People use different type of long clubs to hit a ball till it reaches the pit, the hole on the ground. It is a very dignified sport, and mostly very rich people use it as a source of entertainment. So golf is the national sport of Scotland. Golf is the national sport of Scotland. Then comes baseball. Now baseball is a bit similar to cricket but with a difference. Similarity, it is played with bat and ball. Okay, but difference is that the way this game is played. First of all, it is not played on a vertical yard, okay, a flat yard. Instead, it is played in a circular yard. The running is circular. Okay, the bowler doesn't runs and throws the ball. He stands in one place and throws the ball. The batter has to hit the ball without missing it and then take a round of the field before the pitcher catches the ball. Somewhat like that. Okay, you might have seen some of this baseball on television also. And the country whose national sport is baseball is United States. United States, that is America. Then comes football. In fact, you'll find very funny, children, but football is not just the national sport of one country. There are many countries which have their national sport as football. But one country in particular whose national sport is football is Italy. There is a craze of football in Italy. Okay, and then comes oil wrestling. You know wrestling, right, from the WWE, but not the same one. You see, normal sport wrestling is of two types. One is freestyle and one is Greco-Roman. Freestyle and Greco-Roman. So one of the two is followed in wrestling. Only thing is that the wrestlers slither themselves in oil, that they cover themselves in oil. What it does, it makes it very difficult for the opponents to catch their players, to catch their opponents and put them on the ground. It becomes very difficult because it gets all slippery. Okay, so oil wrestling is the national sport of Turkey. Oil wrestling is the national sport of Turkey. So you see, we have skiing. Okay, the national sport of Norway is skiing. The national sport of Scotland is golf. The national sport of United States is baseball. National sport of Italy is football. And national sport of Turkey is oil wrestling. Okay, then comes, let's write more. You have bandy. Then you have number 7, taekwondo. Taekwondo. Then you have number 8, volleyball. Then you have number 9, sumo wrestling. Then you have number 10, cricket. And then you have number 7, rugby. So now let's take a look at remaining ones. So first one is bandy. Don't be confused by the name. Bandy is also popularly known as ice hockey. You see, players play hockey where they have to put a puck, not a ball, a puck, a thick carom-like, you can say, stuff into the net. But while doing the same, they have to do it on a icy field, and they have to wear skates. Okay, they have to wear skates to go through it, which makes the game difficult as well as very dangerous. So bandy is the national sport of Russia. Bandy is the national sport of Russia. Okay, ice hockey. Then comes taekwondo. Taekwondo is not only a sport, it is a very popular martial art also. It is learnt mostly for self-defense technique, but in one country it has also been taken up as a sport, and it is a national sport there, and that particular country is Korea, that is in particular South Korea. South Korea. So we can understand that the national sport of South Korea is taekwondo. You see, taekwondo is even taught and practiced in our country also, but in our country, more than sport, it is seen as a martial art, something which we can use to defend ourselves whenever we are up against armed enemies. Then comes volleyball. Children, volleyball, I don't have to explain to you what it is, right? It's a very popular sport. It is played in our school also as a part of our curriculum, right? So for volleyball, we have Sri Lanka. The national sport of Sri Lanka is volleyball. Sri Lankans love volleyball very much. They like to play volleyball more than required. Then you have sumo wrestling. Now sumo wrestling, like oil wrestling, it is also a type of wrestling, but don't worry, it is not, the players don't slither themselves in oil. Instead, two very huge players, okay, very big players, they come inside a circle. Okay, they put hands on the ground, and the objective of the game is to tackle the opponent out of the ring, or at least put him on the ground. Trust me, if you have seen the sumo wrestlers, okay, if you have seen the sumo wrestlers, then you can understand that tackling them or putting them on the ground is a very serious business. They weighed a lot, and not only they weighed a lot just because they are fat, but because they are very strong also. Okay, very strong. So sumo wrestling is the national sport of Japan. In fact, sumo wrestling is so much tied with their culture that when the players come in the field, okay, come inside the circle, first thing they do is they take some rice and they sprinkle it in the field. It is supposed to purify the ground, and it is also seen as a mark of honor to respect the ancestral spirits, okay, their ancestors who kept this particular sport, sumo wrestling, alive. Then comes cricket, very popular sport. In fact, even in our country, though the national sport is hockey, but everybody says that cricket is a religion here. Cricket is so popular here that we can't imagine our day without a news on cricket or without playing it. Nowadays, due to COVID situation, we are all ducked in. So one thing that most of us, in fact, most of us are missing is cricket, right? It's do you know that cricket is also known as the gentleman's game? And for all the cricket fans out there, I think those who are going through the news, you know it very well, that two of the Indian cricketers just announced their retirement, the most disastrous among them being Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Our captain Cool has announced his retirement. But still, cricket is the national sport of Australia. Okay, though in our country cricket is a religion, but sadly it is not the national sport. Instead, it is the national sport of Australia. Then comes number 11, rugby. Now, rugby is somewhat similar to football, somewhat, because it is played with a ball, but difference is that it is not played with a circular ball. Instead, it is played with an oval ball. Okay, an oval ball. The teams, they make formation. The aim is to get into the designated position within the opponent's territory, and opponents will do everything sport wise legal to stop you, okay, like tackling, putting you down. Their aim will be to snatch the ball away from the players. Okay, this kind of sport is what is known in sports world as contact sport, physical sport or contact sport, because the main aim here is to catch your opponent, put him on the ground, snatch the ball away from him. So you can understand that wrestling, bandy, and rugby, they all come under the category of contact sport, because this involves touching or catching your opponent. So rugby is the national sport of New Zealand. Rugby is the national sport of New Zealand. You see, so these are the different countries and their national sport. Once again, I will tell you the countries and the national sport. Skiing is the national sport of Norway. Golf is the national sport of Scotland. Baseball, United States. Football, Italy. Oil wrestling, Turkey. Bandy, Russia. Taekwondo, South Korea. Volleyball, Sri Lanka. Sumo wrestling, Japan. Cricket, Australia. And rugby, New Zealand. So you see, these are the different national sports of different countries. Your work will be to note it down all in your notebook, and learn it by heart. And also I'll give you the clip of the quiz time here. Quiz time, you'll solve it on your own in the GK copy itself. Okay, thank you very much. Stay safe.